Hey everyone, welcome to the first video of Pedalboard Breakdown. In this series, we're going to be analyzing and reacting to different pedalboard setups. We'll be using some professional guitarists, some local musicians, as well as your own user-submitted pedalboards. Casey has picked 2 pedalboards for me to react to. I have picked 2 pedalboards that I want him to react to. We'll talk about signal chain, pedal selection, and hopefully learn why an artist has put together that board.
Okay, so the first board we're doing is a guitar hero of mine. His name is Othling. He does a bunch of soundscapey ambient things on YouTube. And this is his pedalboard. It's a lot.
It is a lot. So
with the knob to button ratio.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. So there's a knob to pedal ratio with this board, which is very high. So if you don't know, we have this joke where we call it a KTP ratio, which is the number of knobs on your board compared to the number of pedals. Casey likes pedal boards with a knob to pedal ratio of like 15 or 16
to 1.
I am more of a 3 to 4 kind of knobs per pedals, but this is very impressive. All right.
So you want to try and guess the signal chain?
Yeah. So he's going into the tuner, then into the compressor, into the...
Nope. That's where it gets weird.
Okay.
This is changed a little bit, but in this particular shot, it was, you got the tuner right, the compressor, and then he goes to the ditto looper.
Oh, so he can mess with his loops. Nice, so he can do some cool psych out loop stuff. Okay, so then looper into the POG to hit the frequencies first. Got that. Super Ego as well, same reason, you want the frequencies up front.
Yep.
Then into the overdrive section, he's gonna hit the automatone.
Yes.
Perfect.
Pretty sure.
And then from there, all kinds of fun, crazy modulation curves.
Yeah. Old Blood Noise Dark Star. It's a reverb all the way up near the front.
After the drive though? And then the flat light, Theremin, El Capistan. What is this guy?
That is the microcosm.
What is that?
It's a lot. It's more of a granular type delay looper kind of thing. So like you'll put in something and it'll take your signal and splice it up into little things or whatever, depending on where the knobs are set, and then spit it back out at random kind of thing.
Awesome. So a lot of fun noise, kind of cool modulations. Cool board. I mean, it's really clean. Looks like a lot of fun to play with. Really tiny feet though. This is probably something he used with his hands, I'd imagine, right?
This is up on a table.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense.
Then we head over to this guy. This is...
Oh yeah, what is this mixer thing?
I can't remember how to pronounce the word. It's like Pladask or Pladask Matrice. It is a matrix mixer. So
I don't know what that is.
So it's a blender of...
Oh, is it kind of like the old Blood Noise signal blender?
But way more complicated.
Yeah, it looks more complicated.
So there are 3 loops in here. In one loop, he has blooper. In another loop, he has mood and generation loss.
Okay.
And then in the third loop, he has microcosm into the Maris Autobit Jr., which is a bit crush kind of thing.
To really destroy your signal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it does like weird filter things too, like.
So from the cool mixer thing, do we hop up to the Amaris, or do we go
to the Iridium? And then into the Condor.
Really? The Iridium in front of a preamp pedal?
Yeah, he's using the Condor more as a master EQ. Then into the Maris Polymoon, which is another crazy, weird delay that does weird things. This is also where his signal runs to stereo. So it's mono.
Oh, yeah.
Up until here.
That's surprising too, with so many modulations and delays and everything else. He only basically splits it to the second to last pedal there.
Yeah, that's why he also has this mixer, so you can control the different levels of everything.
And then the Chase Bliss is last?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool board.
Yeah.
A little pricey, but cool board.
Yeah.
So for you at home who are watching, you need to figure out what your knob to pedal ratio is on your board. Add up every knob, sliders included, but knobs on your board, divide that by the number of pedals, and then leave a comment of what your KTP ratio is for your pedal board. So for the pedal board I chose Casey to react to, this is kind of a famous pedal board.
Watch me know who it is.
You should. I'm hoping you do. This one, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to yell out as soon as you see it. You can go and open it up. So this pedal board has a couple iterations.
I'm gonna take a guess. Is this Eric Johnson?
Eric Johnson.
I get them both confused.
So there's quite a few iterations
the
of
face gave it away.
So that's what I was gonna say. There's really two pedals on any Eric Johnson board. For me, it's always the fuzz face and the coral flange that he always has. So I chose this particular setup, one, because it is recent. It was done by LA Sound Design, which did an incredible job with the setup. But that was done in April of last year. And two, there's some cool changes. So if you're an Eric Johnson fan and you're kind of used to seeing his board, he's done some unusual things with this one. They're not unusual, but just different. Most notably, no deluxe memory man. He switched to the diamond memory lane, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's a few things. So he's always running at all times 2 amps. He'll always have either 2 Fenders or a Fender and a Marshall. What he does with this board particularly, and with really any iteration of his board, is he likes to split not just between his clean and his lead, but he also has a clean, or a rhythm clean, and then a rhythm dirty as well. So the first A-B box is kind of the master A-B box between the two, and the second will actually switch between his rhythm dirty and then his rhythm clean as well. So he has different kind of routing to be depending on which one he's going.
This is a switcher and this is a switcher.
Exactly, yeah. And then there's also a mixer in there as well, which you can kind of control how much output and everything. Yeah, so cool board.
I love how the fuzz face is like halfway off the board.
Yeah. So, and do you know why and why that would be?
Is it something to do with batteries?
It is something to do with batteries. So there's a lot of lore and mythology with Eric Johnson and some nuances, but I do believe they left it off just so he could have easy access to the fuzz face to be able to swap in and out.
Was he, I might be thinking of somebody else, was he someone who was like the cables have to be a certain way where the tone like...
Allegedly.
Okay. Because this is like super clean.
No,
like...
it is. And it's small. So one thing about his boards are usually these big sprawling pieces of plywood. This is a nice compact, easy to travel with board. So with that in mind, I want to play a quick game. We're gonna do 2 myths and a lie, where I'm gonna give you 2 Eric Johnson myths about his tone and his pedal board, and 1 lie that I made up to see if you can tell which one is completely nonsensical and which 2 are myths that are whether true or not. So the first myth is that he tunes his fuzz face based on relict batteries. So when he gets to a venue, he will pull a box of relict batteries out and put different ones in his vintage fuzz faces according to the room or venue. That's one.
That sounds like something.
The second one is that he has to have long cable runs between his pedals because the impedance affects the tone. So he actually likes having longer cable runs to the extent that the direction and rotation of the cables can actually affect his tone as well. So whether you're going clockwise or counterclockwise. And then 3, he is able to detect imperfections in his speaker cabinet. So not just that something's off, but he can clearly tell in a 410 or 412 speaker cabinet that his top left speaker is a half a semitone flat or sharp.
So this is 2 myths and a lie?
2 myths and a lie.
So one of them, none of them are true.
Well, they could be true. We don't know.
So the first one was the battery thing?
Battery thing.
I feel like he's really into batteries. That's the thing. I feel like I heard somewhere about the cable length thing, but I've never heard the speaker thing. So I think the speaker thing is a lie.
So actually they were all Eric Johnson myths. I kind of cheated a little bit. So there's a ton of rumors and myths, and I don't think it's fairly justified. I know he is probably very OCD about his board, but at the end of the day, you can't argue with his sound.
Did we see him that one time?
Eric Johnson?
Yeah.
Live?
No, in Texas. Did he walk by our booth?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
We got to look at Eric Johnson walk by our Blackbird booth. That's true. That's a small connection. I feel like I got better at guitar when he walked by. So yeah, I love Eric Johnson's tone. He's a killer monster guitar player. If he wants to coil his cables or change out his batteries, I'm all for it. But great board, really cool setup. All right, board number 2 for Casey. Ooh,
it's a big one. So this belongs to Micheal Pope. He is a big in the P&W community, and he also does a lot of session work.
Okay.
This is his newest rendition. This was set up by Goodwood Audio. And it is very interesting for a couple of different reasons we'll get into. But do you want to guess
How come you make me guess the signal
Because
chain
I love seeing
when there's like 15 pedals, and I don't make you guess Eric Johnson's signal chain when there's like
everybody
8 pedals?
So he's using the PCP 10, so there's 10 loops.
Okay.
But you see how many pedals.
Correct. So that I'm gonna guess that he has multiple pedals in one loop.
Yes.
Okay. So he has stacks of pedals per loop. Okay. So is he hitting the POG 2 first, or is that MIDI coming out of there?
That is MIDI coming out. So the
Course it
first
is.
thing he goes into is this bank switch.
Okay. Kind of similar to EJ. I like it.
So he has it's a bank switch for the RGM, but it's also an input and output.
Gotcha. So like a little patch bay.
Mm-hmm. And then that goes straight into the switcher.
And then I get to take over from here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I guess we'll kind of go chronological. I mean, maybe he's hitting the POG up front to get all the frequencies. Yes. Got it. The boost is first.
No, the boost is actually very interesting how you're using it.
Okay, that steel string.
Nope.
I'm just gonna name every pedal until you tell me I'm right. I'm not gonna say, is it the Megabyte first? No, that's not first. Of course not.
It doesn't look like everything's made to fit.
Oh, okay. So we're not really trying to get clues from chronological order. I don't know. Put me on my misery. What do we got?
So the first pedal, in loop 1, he has 3 fuzzes.
Nice.
He doesn't use them all at the same time, but
So
he will.
is that a Keeley? Is that a fuzz up there in the top?
That's the Keeley dark side.
Gotcha.
But the first one he runs into is the Mythos Argonaut, which is like an octave kind of fuzz.
Okay.
Then he goes into the Keeley dark side, and then into the Vernum. Is that how you pronounce it? Vermerinum.
Vermerin?
You recognize
Yeah,
it. You know, and that's the Oz. And then he goes into loop 2, which is the POG 2.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Then the Keeley Compressor Pro is in loop 3, and then loop 4 we have another multiple loop one.
Okay, so what's loop 4?
Loop 4 is the Zvex SHO.
Okay.
And
You're allowed to say it.
Yeah,
I can say YouTube. You can say
you
it.
can say whatever you want. And the Clover. And then the insert audition section. And then loop 5 is the Color Box V2
By itself.
by itself.
Okay. We're running out of loops here. We got a lot of pedals.
We're on loop 6. Loop 6 is the Earthquaker Aqueduct, which is like a vibrato modulate. It's a modulation. I think it's a vibrato pedal. Then the next insert loop, because they have a million little insert things on here, is the steel string, and then the Vertex boost. Now, if you notice, he doesn't have a volume pedal. What's really interesting about the Vertex boost is there is a TRS expression on the top. So he can plug in a volume pedal on the side of his board, off the board if he's going to use one, and use an expression pedal to control it. Then so that's after the volume, and then he has the megabyte delay. And then in loop 7 is where we split to stereo. He has the Vertex modded Arion chorus. I don't know what the mod is, but it's this guy
That's
right
the
here.
little knob going right through
Yeah,
middle
I
of
think the
bell.
switches, it looks like a
Yeah.
third-party switch. Then in loop 8, we have the microcosm. That's 2 for 2.
2 microcosms.
And then the
Really helping the knob to pedal ratio too
Yeah.
with the microcosms kid.
the switch to
Yeah, it's a looper, so that's
Yeah.
kind of cheating.
is it cheating though?
It's a little cheating.
But you can make noises with the switch.
Okay.
Loop 9 is the Strymon Volante. Then the loop 10 is the Maris Mercury 7 for some.
And then is that a new neighbor up there?
It is. That one's actually out of the loop. That's like his
okay.
bass reverb.
That just kind of washes everything if he wants it.
Well, no, like a bass, like that's the smallest, like that's the least
That's
amount.
always on, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the least
Okay.
amount of reverb he needs.
Gotcha. Wow. Killer board. Nice setup too. Clean. See
Cool.
your boards have a common theme of lots of pedals crammed into small spaces.
Yeah, just wait. Take it bigger.
Sweet. Okay, so for our last pedal board, I chose a Blackbird customer actually. So this is one that was submitted to us from a Blackbird user. By the way, if you want to be featured on one of these episodes, just give us a shout. Either send it to us in an email. You can even use hashtag pedalboard breakdown on like Instagram or Facebook. It doesn't have to be a Blackbird pedal board. I don't think any of these have been Blackbirds so far. Just send us interesting pedal boards, something with some unusual signal chain. We would love to feature it. So this one is a project we built, which was unusual.
I remember this guy.
And you probably remember it because it was a pretty cool pedal board project. Not just the pedals, but the actual board itself. So we had a customer that wanted to integrate lights into their board. We figured, okay, well, LEDs, it's simple. You just put the LED strips. No, we wanted lights. So we put 3 candelabra light bulbs on the top of the board, which we had to custom fit these candelabra sockets into grommets. There's also arcade buttons on the side of the board.
And they all sync up to a light show.
Yes, so basically he runs the power to a box that'll allow him to sync up the lights turning on and off, which is pretty awesome. I mean, if you're gonna have a pedal board, you might as well make it stand out on stage. So that's kind of the cool little custom caveat behind the board itself. But if you want to go ahead, you can go and run through the pedal chains. I have the signal chain there.
I'm gonna start off. This is our 3rd microcosm of the day.
3 not a sponsored video, just these people like microcosms.
So it looks like he goes from the tuner to the freak out. That's a really cool pedal. To the Empress buffer, I think, is underneath the tuner. The TC shaker. I remember the white loop saying he has. I remember there being 2 drives in here. I think the ZVEX is in 1 loop, and then the Empress.
What's creating the loops?
This guy, so he can actually switch between.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a either or both. So you can switch between the 2.
Oh, so it's almost like an ABY box type thing where it's just sending the signal. Okay.
I remember being confused by that. After that, we go to the Empress Tremolo, and the Avalanche Run, and then this arcade machine, AD4096 Mark II.
It looks cool. It fits the board.
Yeah, I feel like it's if it was like a delay.
There are a lot of cool switches.
I have yet to see another pedal with those kind of switches.
No, it's a cool aesthetic. It's definitely a cool looking pedal.
It looks like an arcade machine.
We should look into what this pedal does. Okay, so from there,
I think it's analog delay because AD. There's other pedals that have AD, like Maxon has an AD,
and it's a Mark II, so
Yeah.
you know it's fancy.
Then the beloved Microcosm by Hologram Effects. Then the Ricochet,
The whammy.
and then the Judder. You remember this? He has the expression knob on
Oh
his
yeah,
guitar.
that's cool. So yeah, explain that. What that does.
I
Exactly.
don't really know what it does.
But basically,
it's a looper kind of thing, and he can hold it down, and then
he attaches a small expression to his guitar strap. So when he wants it to freak out and go
he
nuts,
can control it from his guitar.
which is pretty cool.
And I think he's doing multiple things with this because I remember I think this is a Mission Expression switcher, so you can have different.
How that one expression pedal is working, basically.
It's like one expression cable in, or TRS cable in, and then you can switch to which ones it's controlling.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
but you use one expression pedal to be able to control multiple.
Oh, it says right here. The
parameters.
Expressionator is running out to the 89 and the Judder. Yeah, so.
Nice. So you can control 2 with just one pedal.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool board.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. And what I like too, it's a good mix of pedal brands, pedal styles. It's just a really cool kind of like homogeneous board that just looks good. I'm sure it sounds incredible.
Yeah, he runs this through a Marshall JCM
Yeah, I saw that guy.
900
Yeah.
412.
Very cool. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed those breakdowns. Make sure to stay tuned to our channel because we'll hopefully do this regularly. If you want to see your pedal board on there so we can talk about it, analyze the signal chain, send it on over. Again, use that hashtag pedalboard breakdown. I'm David, that is Casey. Thanks for watching, and remember, love your pedals.